Hello, good evening. Welcome back. My name is Mohammad Asim. Today we are going to cover Docker tutorial 3, which we are going to cover the topics. Okay, let's go. Before that, what we are going to learn in this tutorial, in the sense, we will see overview as a recap. We will see the Docker concepts, right? And we will see how to write a Docker file, right? And what the keywords required to write a Docker file. We will specify all the things, and I will show you how to write your first Docker file, and how we will create a Docker image out of our Docker file, and how we can make a container out of Docker image, right? Docker container. And we will see a Docker hub account, how you can just create a one personal account on the Docker hub, and how you can integrate your Docker hub account to your VM, that is when you are installing a Docker on your EC2 instance using Ubuntu image. In that, how you can log in your Docker hub account, and how you can push your Docker image to your Docker hub. Okay, Docker hub accounts. So before moving to the tutorial third, we will have a basic overview of what we have discussed in the tutorial 1 and tutorial 2. The concept is what is Docker, right? As we discussed before, Docker is a containerization software, is to simplify our Docker deployment. Okay, so where, in which stage does the Docker is useful? That is useful in deployment stage. Okay, as we discussed before also. Okay, so that part is clear to you. And what it is required. So Docker, what it does, it's help you to deploy your code in the multiple environments. Like you have a multiple environment in your organization. So for your application, you are using multiple environment, in the sense you are using dev environment, you are using stage environment, you are using pre-prod environment, you might be using production environment and UAT environment, right? So you can deploy your application into different environments, right? And deploy to different environment, in the sense what does it require and how it is helpful as a Docker, right? Docker installing this is a software in different environment, right? It will help you to process, okay, to install all your dependency of your application. Okay, the dependency of your application, let's say your application is written in JavaScript, right? It may be React.js, so it will be use that as your code dependency, right? So as your code dependency, so it can be used as a server, it can be used as a backend code, it can be used as the front end and the database. Okay, yeah, it will take all your application dependency, front end, backend, server, and your programming language on which your application has been written, and it will take and it will package that application, and we can use this package application to deploy in multiple environment. Okay, with using Docker, we can avoid the mistake of like working our application in one environment and it's not working in a different environment. Let's say like as we are deploying our application, we require a lot of dependency. As I mentioned, that it's required your application code, it may require some of the dependencies package. For if you're having a JavaScript application, so you need to install some applications, right? npm dependencies, npm any execution dependencies, if you have any plugins to be installed in that, xyz, right? So in order to avoid this human error or the mistake, we create one Docker image of our complete dependencies, like for application including a backend, front end, database, your programming language dependency, and we will create a Docker container or Docker image out of it, that we will take that image and we will deploy in multiple environment. As we mentioned over here, a simple Docker file, from the Docker file we will create a Docker image, with the Docker image we will create a Docker container. Okay, we will push to our Docker hub account. From the Docker hub amount, we can integrate our different environment, right? If you are going with the stage environment, from stage environment I will pull from a Docker hub account the image and we will deploy. And the same as in the test environment also, I'll pull the image and I will deploy. I will deploy. So I can use this multiple environment deployment without facing any error. Okay, so hopefully this is part is done. So now if, for example, if you have our application which is will be deployed in the container, it can be deployed in multiple containers, right? It can for example, our deploying our one Node.js application in 10 containers, right? In container, what the use of, why do we require to install deploy on the 10 for example, for the 10 containers? The use case for this is to handle the incoming traffic for our application as serving as a load balancer, right? If we are deploying for our application for one only one container, so that cannot be handle our traffic. Let's say our user having 10,000 users is using our application, right? So in this case, one container cannot execute, cannot handle our requesters coming from the users, the client in the sense. Okay, user is referred to the client. So in this, what we will do, we will make it multiple containers and we will deploy it. Okay, for use case for this, who will do it, this container deployment. So in this case, the Kubernetes come into place. Okay, Kubernetes is a application, right? It's an open source application which manages the containers. We can increase the containers, it can decrease the containers, it can upgrade your containers, the containers which your application is hosted. Okay, so the Kubernetes will be playing this role to manage all your application, right? All your containers, to manage a container is like an administrator, right? So for the example, it will be is as a simple contain simple as a as an administrator. Okay, so how does it happens? So we will be in the combination of Docker and the Kubernetes is a main player which in the market to manage all the container deployments of your application. Okay, for example, the Hotstar, for example, Netflix. Okay, so in the Hotstar, if I quote one example, let's say there is a match between India and Pakistan, which is very famously it's a rival match, right? So we have a cricket match and execute that. Like for example, let's say the match is stuck between the final hours. So at that time, the clients will be heavy, right? To handle this traffic, the Kubernetes come into play based on the traffic of the users. For example, for the previous matches, if you configure, it has been 4.5 crore viewers, right? So in that case, the Kubernetes will be coming play. Okay, Kubernetes will create multiple containers based on the incoming traffic. So whenever the traffic get reduced, so it will start deleting that containers. Okay, it will increase the containers, it will decrease the containers. So this will be the another topic which I will be covering in the future. Okay, so now let's go and we will see the main thing which we are going to cover in this tutorial. The concept is to cover Dockerfile. Okay, so to cover this Dockerfile, I will show you the main concepts, how to write a Dockerfile, what is a Dockerfile, right? Dockerfile is basically is a file in which the instructions have been given. Okay, the instructions refers to your application. So in my case, if my application is let's say Next.js application, then I have a specific some of the commands to run my application, right? To build my application and to run my application. So the instruction which which I will write in this file, Docker file, right? In the file is known as Docker file. Okay, and it will specify the instructions to build the Docker image, and it will specify app dependencies in the Docker file. Okay, you got my point. What are the basic keywords? This is known as the keyword. The keywords are from, right? From, maintainer, copy, run, cmd, expose, work directory, and the entry point. They have specific use cases to handle. Okay, so Docker file can be written in multiple format, but basically it is recommended to write always the name of the file of the Docker is Docker file, D to be capital and the remaining to be without space, to be Docker file, which I will be showing in the lab, right? So let's cover with the theoretical part. So what does the from is keyword keyword will specify in the Docker file. The from will specify the line set for the base image. Usually the from will say that this application, right, required a base image. So for use case, our application is Next.js. So in this case, we require Node.js, right? So we require Node.js we required a node.js base image. Okay, so this is the Docker hub, right? Here you have multiple you have multiple images available. So in my case I will search node.js, right, because I required a node.js. Let me just go with the, let's say, no docs, no, let just a second. Here the repository, let me search over here. It's node.js, right? So I'll be searching with the node.js, then you will click here, and I will say that the official image of the Docker, let me see, verified publisher. Okay, so here we have multiple Bitmani node.js, a normal node.js, right? So we have node 11. Let me just write node. Okay, here is the image of node, right? So this is how you can go and check what is the official image. This is the official Docker image provided by node.js itself. It's a JavaScript based platform for the side and networking application. Okay, so here is showing that this is maintained by the Docker team, right? Node.js Docker team. And where to get help and how to pull this Docker image from the Docker hub, which is official image. So they have given Docker pull node. Okay, but if you want to create the tag, so you can give specific tag. If you give the tag node.js -latest, so it will push the latest image of the node.js. So here are the supported tags also. You can specify node.js -tag with alpaline, right? This is a lightweight, and these are the basically tags which is available. Okay, so this is how you can specify and you can have the Docker image out of that. So Docker from, you can specify over here node.js node, let me see, node 17 or 11 based on our use case, right? Okay, and one file can have multiple from like dependencies. I can be, my application will be handling node.js, right? Node.js, and I do required my SQL also. So it can be handle multiple base images. Okay, so it can have multiple base images. Okay, the second command is that maintainer. What does the maintainer is done? This is only the line set to specify who is the maintainer of this Docker file. In an organization there are the multiple developers working, multiple DevOps engineer working parallelly. Okay, so in this case it will be difficult to know that who has written this Docker file for any information or any specific update or something else. To overcome this, we specify maintainer just to have the reference name of this person. Okay, so I can mention that Asim, right? I am Asim, and I can specify my email address also, right? Okay, and the second specified, this doesn't work in converting the Docker image. It does not play in any role in creating a Docker image or Docker container. It's just only for the reference part. Okay, the copy command, the copy command is just is known as like it will copy all your code existing over there. Okay, so let me give you briefly over that. Copy is a tag keyword, right? Is a keyword which is used to copy the file from the host machine to the container machine. Okay, let's say my code is available inside the root directory, so I'll be copying into the root directory of the container. So I will specify dot dot over here, so that in this case so all the code which is available in my local host machine will be copied to the container machine. Okay, as I mentioned before, Docker file, right? Sorry, the Docker file, right, will have the base image also, that is node.js as a specified node 17 or node 11 based on our use case, right? So we'll after that I have specified that we'll be using the maintainer, then we'll go for the copy, and the copy is simply is required. It will copy all your code of the host machine to the container machine. So what we will specify first, we will specify the source path, as I mentioned, that is a dot, and we will specify the destination part, right, in the next use case. And we can specify in the directory pattern also. Let me give that target, right? I'll specify target app dot jar. If my application is sorry, my application is a Java. So in this case, we need to specify the path where our .jar or .var file is exist. That is, let me just give the path over here. So I will give here tomcat, just a second, tomcat slash web app .var. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm basically just giving the path of my source, right, to destinated source. Okay, so whatever my build artifacts of my Java based application, if my application is over here, then I will give the target source path, right, source, to copy the destinated path, right, into destination. This will be our host machine. Sorry, let me just add over here. It will be our host machine, and this will be our container machine. That is our container machine. container container machine, right? Okay, fine, this we already get. So and what is the next command, next target, sorry, next keyword which we are giving over here, right? So the next keyword is very important, that is run. Okay, run is used to execute the instructions, as I mentioned over here also. What does the run does, right? A run will execute the instruction, right, instruction while creating the Docker image, where it is used while creating the Docker image. Okay, so for example, I'm specifying some of the commands. Let's say run, right, I want to update my packages, right? So what I will do, update update, right, update hyphen y, right? So in this case I can specify some of the commands. Okay, while this will be executing while creating the Docker images. Okay, so in this case I can write one more command, right, where I will say that just please clone the image, right, clone my all repository, GitHub repository, all my code, and copy over here. Okay, so we can specify this command also. We can say that if the git is not installed in the second use case, we can write the command to install the git also, right? So in this case what we can do, we can just write over here the command. Okay, just we'll give over here and we will write the command over here, sudo apt install git, right? This is how we can specify using the Docker keyword, and we will this keywords will be execute while creating the Docker images. Okay, just to remember that it will be executed in the Docker images. There is a major difference between the copy command and the cmd command. This will be always asked in the interview, so you should remember that run command is used while executing the instructions, right? Run is used to execute the instructions while creating the Docker image. Okay, so basically is a shell Linux commands. What we will specify using run keyword, we will specify only the shell commands. Okay, and where it will be executing while creating the Docker images from the Docker file. Okay, now let's go for the next one, cmd command. This will be this will be doing the same state, but this will be used while creating the Docker container. Okay, this command will be executing while creating the Docker container. So you should remember that there is a major difference between run keyword and the cmd keyword in Dockerfile. Okay, so where cmd commands will execute, when it will execute, it is used to execute the instructions while creating the Docker container. Okay, so in my case, let's say I have a Node.js application. So what I will do it, I require to start this application, right? So I will say npm and I will say that npm start. So this command is used to start my application. So where I have to specify, I have to specify in cmd keyword, because this will not be used in creating the docker image, right? I don't want to up my application in while creating the docker image. I want to make my application working up and working in while creating docker container, right? So in this case, the cmd keyword will be executing the instruction whatever we are giving, and cmd will be executed while creating the docker container. Okay, this hope this clarified to you. Okay, this is a major which will be always asked in the interview in docker, docker, right? So the what is the difference between run keyword and cmd keywords? Okay, so run is used to execute the instruction while creating docker container, whereas cmd is used to execute the instruction while creating docker container. Okay, and to remember that you can have multiple run keywords, you can specify multiple commands, right? You can run multiple commands while via run. Okay, as I mentioned that I have given 5, right? I have given four run commands, run shells command using run keyword, right? So in this case what happens, I can give multiple over here. So what happened in the sequence, it will execute all the run in the run keywords what we have given the shells commands. So first we will execute apt update. It will clone my repository whichever I have given using the git clone. Then it will install the git inside this one. Okay, so 1 2 3 will be executed, but whereas in the cmd command this pattern is not similar, it is different from the run. So here whatever which is the latest is given, that will be executed, in this case. If I run npm install, right? So what we will be used, that will be used the latest one which is given. Okay, if you write multiple cmd instructions, docker will process only the latest instructions given specified in Dockerfile. Okay, so you have to remember that whenever you are writing, this latest will be called during creating a docker container out of your docker image. Okay, so there is a difference between here all the docker whatever the specified commands has been given using the tag run, all will be executed, but in this case cmd only the latest cmd instruction will be followed. Okay, so now in this case expose. So here why you are using expose? Okay, the expose is only for the knowledge and the documentation purpose. The reason for that is that, let's say used to specify, this command used to specify the container. Okay, container, let's say my container is the default node.js application will be running on container port number 3000, right? So the default where the port number will execute on 3000. Okay, so let's say while creating this I have mentioned that this is 3002, you have to execute this application. So what I will do it, I will specify the port number over here, but this is only for the knowledge purpose and the documentation purpose. This is used to specify container port number for the other team and reference for the different team, like reference for the DevOps engineer don't know that we on which port this application will be up and running. He don't have the information. He will be working in different programming language applications, right? So in the organization it can have multiple programming language in which your application is running, right? So let's say in your organization you have Python application, you have JavaScript application, you have core Java application, you have any Go language application. So the DevOps engineer don't have this information how to make or on the which port the default your application will be running. Okay, so make this documentation to make helpful in your team. So we'll specify the expose port number. Okay, and the second one is, the next is It can be so. One more thing, that this is only a document purpose. It does not reflect that when you appear under application, the Docker container will be only accessible on this port. This you can bypass using the commands to done like docker run -v with your Docker image and the port mapping with -v 30 3000 3000 or 6000 6000. So this is only for the knowledge purpose. Okay, knowledge and document purpose, right? Next thing, the next keyword is docker work dir. Okay, work dir. This is used to specify the path of the path of working directory, right? Path of working directory, on which working directory. So let's say, for example, if I have any path, right? So let's say we are saying that no, we will go with the one path to be happen, right? So in this case we are using like opt or opt, right? Opt, and we are using app. Okay, so in this case what we are doing, we are saying that we are going to create one directory, and we are saying giving the path as opt and the path app. In this app you can execute everything over here. Okay, so this will be a defined path in which all your team also will be working on this one. In multiple use case, in our use case, what we are doing, we have specified one path on which we are working, like var ww, right? And we are saying that to have like up app. Okay, so this is how you specify that the path, working directory path. Okay, where all your application code will be received and will be changes or updated everything to come all to have all on board on the single directory. Okay, all your team members, like for example you have a 50 developers, right? So they should know on which one directory they should be logged as a working directory. In this case we already will specify that this is the opt and this app. In the opt there is a one app directory. In this directory will be working for application. Okay, and then we have missing only one pending, that is entry point, right? The entry point is very important, right? This will be the interview question, so you should be remember that this is the same as work same okay, this is the same will be working, right? Entry point is a docker instruction, docker file instruction that allowed you to configure a docker to run a specific command when it start. Okay, so it's similar to the same smd instructions. It's same like smd, but it has some protocols over there. Okay, what are the protocols? So it can bypass some of the commands or it can override some of the commands. Okay, so entry point will ensure you the specific command is always executed when the container is started. You don't want user to override this. Okay, so in this case what you can do, you can specify some of the command in the entry point that cannot be override or bypassed whenever the container is going to create, right? Before your application is application up and run, this command has to be run. So in my thing there is a one command always should be executed, that is apt update -y, right? So if you update this, I'm saying that whenever my container is going to create from the docker image, this command is always should be executed. Okay, so in this case you can mention the entry point, that command should not be override okay, override or neglected by any developer. Okay, so that you can specify in the entry point. Okay, so it ensures the specific command is always executed. We are ensuring that this always the packages should be updated inside our docker container. Okay, this one use case. Okay, if you want to create a container that can run specific container process, you want to ensure that is always executed in a consistent way, right? Here one more is that if you're working in Java application, in Node.js application, then one more is there always to be written over here, that is for uh, npm install, right? Npm install. So I want to install always npm install, and I want to build always. Okay, whenever my code has been changed, so what I have to do it, I have to build that. So npm build Okay, npm build. So this is how you can specify it. That can be multiple use cases to make it understand this entry point can handle this, that cannot be override by any users, right? So this command will be 100% will be executed. So this is I have given example, and I have given you how you can write your docker file. Okay, now what we will do it, now we will go and we will go for the docker lab. Okay, so in the docker lab we already have a one ec2 instance, right, which we have created in episode 2, right, 1 and 2, and I have shown you how to create this docker VM also, right, ec2 VM, and how to install docker on this. Okay, so if I check docker hyphen v, so I have seen the docker version. So if you don't know how to install, you can go and check out my tutorial too, which I have covered everything on that. Okay, I have covered how to set up your docker inside ec2 instance, one VM ubuntu, and how to create a docker image also. I have explained docker architect also, how is a docker architecture is there. So this is how. Now we will go and we will write a one simple docker file. Okay, we will write a one simple docker file. So first what we will do it, let me just check, do I have anything over here, docker images, right? So I don't have any docker image. Let me see, do I have docker? Okay, I have a docker containers over, no issue. We have been this is up and running from 2 weeks, right? It is exited before 2 weeks, so we can know it over here. So the first thing what we will do it, we will check I do have anything over here. I have one directory which is flask app python, right? So we will keep it over here itself. So what we will do it, simply we will go with the command to write nano. We will use nano editor to write a docker file. Okay, we will give the name as docker file. Just hit enter, you are into the docker file. In this case what we will say that we will specify first, as we mentioned, we will specify from, right? So from the from we have to give it it should be in the capital letter, right? So here what we have to give it, we have to give it as I mentioned over here, right? Already we have specified you have to give the docker path over this, right? So what we will do it, we will go and check what is the image available over here. So let me go and I will see, let me know I am using wrong. So let me see, do I have ubuntu over here, ubuntu os image? Yes, I do have official ubuntu image. So what I will do it, I will click over here and I will take the image name as ubuntu, right? So I will go over here and I will give the name, right, from ubuntu. We have specified the ubuntu image, right, which we have taken over from here, and you can use the tags over here, right? So the tags are the limited. I have a recent tag is the latest, right? If you want to write the tag over here, then what you have to do it, you have to go and give it over here, take the tag from here, whichever tag do you require. So in my case I'm using the latest tag, so I'm saying that please take ubuntu as a latest, right? So ubuntu tag as latest. So you can give copy over here, simple, and go and the paste. You can give any tag over here based on your use case. Okay, so simply what we are doing, we are giving simple basic commands over here, and I will say that after that, and I'm saying the maintainer, and I will close over here. I'll give the name or the email address. So it can be anything, just for the reference that okay, this is belong to the docker file which I have written is belonging to Asim, right? So the next command I am using run command. This run command is used to execute the commands. Okay, sorry, just space, execute the command while creating the docker file, right, while creating a docker image. So what I'm doing, run, I'm giving simple run hello asim, right, one. Okay, so in a use case we can write multiple as I mentioned that multiple run tag, with the run tag multiple shell commands, right? So in this case I will write run hello asim. So it will print this while creating a docker image, right? So this already done. So then we will go and we will write this cmd command. This command will be executed while creating, when it will, while creating a docker container. So what I will do it, I will go and I will write cmd hello world. Just I'm giving the simple name, simple text just to echo it. Okay, just giving one. Okay, so do you remember that I have mentioned before that, let me give space over here so that it should look over. As I mentioned that run commands, whatever you have written the run in the run tag, right? In the run tag, whatever you have mentioned, all the commands will be executed, but in the cmd it will execute only the latest one. Okay, so run keyword we have specified, we have given. So now what we will do it, just I will use control x uh, is and hit enter. Okay, so if you ls over here, you are seeing that there is a one docker file. Okay, one docker file is available, the docker is installed, right? Docker I have installed over here. So what I will do it, I want to create a docker image out of my docker file. Simply the command is docker build -t and I will give it app1. Okay, and I need to specify the directory, in the directory where is docker file is exist. So currently I'm here where my docker file is available. When I did ls, I find that docker file is available, right? So I'll specify dot over here and I will hit enter. So let's see what are the commands and what are the steps keywords will be executed. If you hit enter, then if you see that first thing is that docker is the what is done, it's pulling the image, it's checking locally and it does not find anything. So what I mean is pulling from the ubuntu library, from the docker hub, the tag is ubuntu latest. Okay, and it's already pull completed. Then afterwards what happened, downloaded near images for pull latest. Okay, the second is what we have given, we have given the maintainer is also executed. The third we have given echo, so run echo run hello, that is also executed while creating the docker image. So that run echo is printed with the echo run hello command, right? Echo used to print your whatever the message you have given. So I have given message run hello asim.1 /1, so it is printing hello run hello asim1. Then what am I removing, intermediate container, no issue. Then afterwards it's executing one more is there, which I have specified run hello asim2. So it is executing this also, it's printing with the using the echo run hello asim2. Okay, then afterwards it's requiring echo cmd. Okay, hello world 1. Okay, and it is building our image. So now if I check over here docker image, just you able to see one is the image which is ubuntu, which is pulled from the docker hub. When before we had checked out, we did not find any docker images. If you check over here, docker images, there was no docker images, right? While writing the docker file and we are converting that file, right, and we are creating the docker image out of it, then you able to see that there is a one app1 which we have given the tag over here for the docker to create a docker image, and there is a one os image which is fetched from docker hub. Okay, let us see docker ps-a. So if you see here, there is no container has been created because we have not executed, we have not run use the command to make it our application up and running, right? So basically this is one to let you know whatever the commands has been executed. Okay, now in this case if you check it over here, you see that echo cmd hello 1 is executed, right? So what we will do it, we will edit that docker file, we will go and we will come down and we will write one more comma, one more keyword, right? And we will write one shell command. So I'll be using cmd and I will say echo, right? Just give it cmd hello world hyphen 2 hyphen 20, let's say, for example. So in this case, what should happen now? I'll use control X, Y, save, and hit enter. Okay, if I cat over here on my Docker file, you should be able to see I have used cmd commands also, right? I have two cmd commands. So it should skip first and it should go for the latest second one, and it should execute only the second one. Okay, so in this case, docker run, okay, docker build, I want to create a docker image, right? Docker build hyphen t, and I will give it app2 name, right? And I'll be using the directory, specify the directory in which my docker file is available. Hit enter, you're able to see that which command has been executed. So it's showing C, running cache execute, so it's running only this command. Okay, this command has been skipped, as I mentioned before, right? Only running this command. If you check over above, it's showing that this was running cmd echo, cmd hello one, right? Was working, the step 5 was executing, but in this case fifth was skipped and sixth is running. In the same case, let me add one more to show you again. So nano docker file, and I will add one more cmd echo. I'll say cmd hello asim cmd testing, right? So in this case, that previous should be skipped and this should be run. Okay, control Y, hit enter. So now what I will do, I will create one more image out of this, or let me refresh with this. Let me try. So it's building over here. See over here, right? What happened, this have skipped the step 6 also. Now what it happened is I was using only the latest cmd command. You got it? Latest cmd command. Let me try and create, I'll show you with this steps. Let me go with the app3. So it's showing, see, first one, it has used the latest image of the ubuntu, then maintainer, then run command. Okay, the run command has been executed, this run command has been executed, this run command has been already executed. Okay, and it's showing that hello echo is completed, right? We have created a build. Okay, if I check docker images, I should be able to see there is a 3 images over here. Fine, this hopefully this part is done. Okay, and docker run hyphen t, I will use docker run. Let me use the name of the image. Okay, let's see what it has happened. It's saying that, see, the cmd hello asim cmd testing is done, right? So what happened, we have run this one, and it's taking only the latest what we have given. So if you check it over here, we have specified 5 6 7, right? But in our use case, what happened, it is pick upping only the latest what we have given, latest cmd command. Okay, it will skip the remaining, it will bypass the old one, it will take cmd only the latest one. So this also clear, right? The run is used to create, the run command is used to create a docker image. It will execute the run keywords, specified shell commands which was specified in the run keyword will be executed while creating the docker image, whereas cmd will be executing while creating the docker container out of docker image. If you check it here, there is no run has been used, right? So if I check docker ps, do you have one, does any docker container has been created? Yes, one docker container has been created. That is, the name is app. Let me just zoom it. Okay, the name, if you're not specified, that will be quick any random names. Okay, so it has given the container id, the image name what I have used is app2, and the commands is bin/c. Okay, it was created 1 minute ago. Okay, so in our use case, what we'll do, docker run, we will use docker run. Here I'll use app, what I've used before, app2, right? Let me app3. In this case, I will use app3, right? If I use if I take app3 also or app2 also, anything if I take, but what it will execute, it will execute the latest which I have given. Okay, docker run app2, so it will say that hello Asim, testing is done. Okay, so in this case, if I go and I will edit one more time, Asim nano docker, let me sorry, docker file. Okay, and I will say that I don't require these commands, so I'll use control K to delete it. So I'll be deleting, I just want only hacko cmd hello world. In this case, what I will do, I will create one more container out of this in this command. No, sorry, I have used the wrong path, right? So if I check docker images, so what I have a docker image over here. So let me create new docker image, docker docker run. I will give what docker, what I can give the name, just I'll give one some unique name which I can remember, right? In this case, simple, what I will do with docker run docker build hyphen t tag. Let me give the tag as new image. I'll give dot, right? So now the new image is created, it has keeping that. So now what you do, docker run, then latest image which I have created, the image name is what is the image name which I have specified, new image, right? So I'll take new image and I will hit enter. So now if you check it over here, you will be finding the command which you have given in cmd keyword. Okay, this is fine. So now what we have covered up to in our tutorial is that we already specified, as I mentioned, that we already have I've given you what are the concepts of Dockerfile. As I mentioned before, that it used to create a Docker image. From the Docker image, we can create a Docker container. Dockerfile is what is it? Dockerfile is an instruction where you specified the dependencies to create a Docker image and Docker container out of this Dockerfile. Okay, just to Dockerfile. Okay, and just we have already covered the keywords, specific keywords, the theory word also, and the practical word. And we already created docker file. Okay, first docker file, and we have created a docker image out of it, and we have created a docker container out of it. And now what we can do, how you can integrate your docker account and push this docker image to your docker hub. Okay, so in this case, what we required docker login. Okay, so let's go and we will say docker login is a command. Just to hit enter, you will ask you the key, the password and the keyword. So in this case, I have a username of my account. You can go and you can create your docker hub account. Okay, just give it over here, hit enter, then it will ask you the password. So docker hub password, let me just check it out. Okay, in this case, what I have to do it, let me skip here and I'll use same because I forgot the docker login. So I have to create new, I have reset my passwords. So if you click over here, then it will ask you the username of your account. So I will give the username over here. Just I will paste it over here and hit enter. Here you have to give it the password. So you have to, okay, just if you insert the password and hit enter, your login will be successfully. After that, it will show that your login is successfully done. One token will be created. Okay, this will be done. And how do you validate? You just give it again one more time, docker login. So it should not prompt you or it will not ask you any user and password over here. Okay, this is how you can log in to your docker account. Okay, from there you can, now what we can do it, we can push whatever the image available in my machine over here, host machine. I can push to that to our docker hub. Okay, to my account. In this case, what happened, I will push whatever I have, I will push to that here. Okay, what I have to do it, if I check docker images, I have a specific images, right? I have multiple images available in my VM machine. Okay, which is a host machine. So what I have to, I have to push my docker I have to push my Docker image to my repository, right? So in this case, what I'm using, a Docker push app to, so I can use this image to push this image to Docker. But in this case, what happened, before I start, I have to take the tag. Okay, I have to add some of the tags over here, then I can push it. Okay, let me show that Docker push. So it will prompt you one error, app to, right? If you hit enter with the specific tag as latest, right? So if you hit enter, it is showing that, the denied is denied. Okay, to overcome this error, what you have to read, you have to add the my what is there, where is my Docker hub, I have to add my name over here itself. Okay, so I have to give the username of this as a tag name to my Docker images. To override this, what I can do, Docker tag what I want to tag, I want to tag this is a command, the new image, right? New image, right? New image with I will remove the tag new image, and I will give asim slash, no, I have to add over here, just a second, asim akram 19, my username is asim akram 19. Okay, after that you have to give it latest. Okay, as I mentioned here, if I just copy over here, just a second, I'll show you that. So just I'm giving the name of the image itself as a new image, right? So if I want to push my image to the Docker Hub account, then I have to give the username of my account over here. Just hit enter, so it will add a tag over this, right? If I execute now Docker images, I should be able to see the name of this repository has been updated with the name as asim19 new image. Okay, so now what I will do it, I will push Docker push. Okay, I will Docker push asim 19. Okay, let me see the command itself, Docker push asim19 new image. So if I hit enter, I should be able to see that it is successfully pushed to Docker Hub. If you see over here, so it's taking 78 MB and it's pushing to my Docker Hub. Okay, okay, it's showing that it's successfully done, and it's using encrypted way between my VM. SHA-25 is encryption, right? It is used encryption way to push my VM Docker image to my Docker Hub. Okay, so if I go here and if I go here, if you check it over here, I'll be finding only 2 images available, right? If I refresh over here, if you will see that third image is already pushed over here. See, the new image is over here, is done a less than minute. Okay, let me repeat one more step over here, and I will show you. Let, for example, I want to push this app to Docker image to my Docker Hub, right? In this case, Docker, let me tag first, Docker tag. Okay, so I will add Docker tag, then I will take name of my image, app to, then I will give the username of my account, then I will give slash, then I will give app name. Okay, image name. So I'm just adding a tag over here. If I check Docker images, then you're able to see there is a one new image is available over here. Now I will use Docker push command to push this image, right, app to my Docker Hub account. Just pushed over here, this is preparing, right? It's preparing to push this amount, then it's taking mounting new image, right? It will take few seconds, and the Docker image which we have created, that will be pushed over there. So if you check it over here, you should be able to find the new image available. Okay, so you're able to see that app to images over here. So now one more thing is, we have seen Docker push, right? So what I will do it, I will just delete Docker rmi used for the Docker image. To remove, I will delete asim app to. Okay, app to image, app to. Okay, the untag and declare. If you check Docker images, you should be able to see there is no image available with the name as Docker asim akram 19 splash app 2. So what I will do it, Docker pull, and I will give it the name Asim, no, I'll go over here and I will say that I want to pull this image, right? So I'll go specific and I will copy the uh, tag over here, the in the command. Just no, this is a push command, right? So this is publicly. So just if I want to pull it, let me try over this. Okay, this already push tag name is there, docker. Let me give it over here, docker pull. So what I'm doing, I'm pulling the image from my Docker Hub account. So it will authenticate my things. Error responded not found manifest. Tag name, okay, tag name is latest. Hit enter. So it will fetch. See, downloaded new images from Docker app latest. If you check it over here, if you'll be finding that there is a one image which is fetched from Docker Hub, okay, with the name of Docker app 2. If you check it over here, this is the name of Docker app 2. This is how you can create, you can integrate your Docker hub account to your VM, and you can push the image to your Docker hub, and you can pull the image from your Docker hub account. Okay, so what we have covered in this tutorial in the sense is that we have covered all the aspects which we was for the tutorial 3. We have already covered Dockerfile concept, keywords, and how to write your Docker file, and how to create a Docker image, Docker container out of this, and how to Docker hub overview. And I have given how to integrate your Docker hub account and log into your Docker hub account, and you can push the image to your Docker hub and pull the image from the Docker hub. Okay, so practice this one multiple times, so this will be helpful for you, and we'll come up with the new tutorials, okay, which will be covering in the tutorial 4. Don't forget to share, subscribe, that help me to grow for my channel. Okay,